Hey going everyone, Nick here, and we are back in Automobilista 2 today. Now, if you have watched my videos in the past, you may know that I have done a fair few videos on Automobilista 2, and I quite enjoy it, but I know that some others are still on the fence. So I thought we'd do a bit of a high-level overview of AMS2, look at some of the pros and cons, some of the features, and maybe what the future of the sim looks like. I think that this is something that has a lot of promise, but maybe you don't know for sure if you want to buy it. So let's get stuck in and see what I think. So as a brief overview for AMS2, it is of course the sequel to AMS or Automobilista, which was created by Brazilian developer Razer Studios. The original focus of Automobilista was around motorsport that was mainly popular in Brazil or South America in general, though it has since expanded greatly into other motorsport categories. The sim was released in early access in a somewhat okay state, though constant updates to the content, force feedback model, car physics, etc. have come a long way. But let's go into more detail about what I like and dislike about the sim, plus my thoughts on whether or not you should buy it. So what is good about AMS2? Well, the visuals are fantastic. So running on the Madness engine, which is the same engine as Project Cars 2, albeit with some modern updates, the game is possibly the best looking racing sim out there, especially at max graphics settings. Performance is well optimized, at least in my experience. The game runs well on lower end hardware and maintains solid frame rates, even in high traffic situations. The weather effects are excellent, and besides the Rain FX mod for Assetto Corsa, are probably my favourite in any racing game. You can also very easily set the day and night transitions and sync weather changes to the race length for a truly immersive experience. Car feel and force feedback has shown great improvements over time, though whilst in a decent state now, this is an area where many people feel the sim needs further improvement. In the latest update to be released, significant work has been done to remedy issues that have come across from Project Cars 2, namely the awful diff behaviour experienced in many cars, as well as other handling aspects. Don't expect R-Factor 2 levels of force feedback quality here, though user-made custom force feedback files can definitely improve that behaviour. AI is showing many improvements since release and is updated regularly. They still do forcibly send it on you in some corners, which can be annoying, but it's definitely not the worst AI out there. This is something that will need to be enhanced as much as possible. As we'll explain later, the online presence of AMS2 is lacking, so it's important that AI is optimized regularly. The included card content in AMS2 is quite impressive and covers a range of different motorsport categories, from stock cars to touring cars, open wheelers, and classic cars in multiple categories. Content is growing at a steady rate, and the inclusion of fairly regular free content, such as the excellent BMW 2002 Turbo or the Brabham BT46B fan car, is something that not many other sims offer. Whilst free content is always welcome, there are also some excellent paid DLC packs as well, which offer very well-made car models, as well as track packs which often include multiple layouts, including classic or retro versions of tracks like Monza and Hockenheim. The inclusion of these classic layouts is somewhat rare outside of mods for other games, and is arguably more exciting to me than their modern counterparts. Buying all the DLC will probably cost you a fair bit, however, but if you're dedicated to the sim and want some of these excellent track packs, then I feel as though it's definitely worth it. VR support is well implemented, and whilst it requires a high-end PC to really get the most out of it, when you combine it with the amazing visuals and incredible weather effects that AMS2 offers, it can be an absolutely mind-blowing experience. In my opinion, there is less to not like than there is to like, but some of these may make or break with some people. So let's go through what I think. Many people like to race against AI when sim racing, but for those that live for online ranked multiplayer, AMS2 is really not the sim for you right now. Depending where you live, there are online lobbies available, and also there are some dedicated leagues, but if you're looking to just jump into an organised race and go, you'll likely find some challenges here. Hopefully Razer push for a more solid online experience and implement a solid ranked system, which I think is needed to really push this game further in the community. I also found controls can be difficult to map. Sometimes the game struggles to identify control inputs when mapping these, which can be quite frustrating. Using a custom controller layout versus the predefined setups for various wheels can improve this, but there definitely needs to be some additional work done here. A lack of modding support is also a major area that requires an uplift or implementation at least. So AMS1 had some fairly dedicated modders out there, however the ability to mod the game unfortunately didn't transfer over to AMS2. So short of some livery changes and custom force feedback files, there is no ability, as I'm aware of, to add custom tracks or cars via mods. I think mods are something that really extends the life of a sim. Look at Assetto Corsa, for example. So hopefully we get some modding tools down the line. Those who are very sensitive to accurate and responsive car feel and force feedback may be deterred by AMS2. Whilst I mentioned earlier that this is definitely making leaps and bounds with regular updates, it may not be to the level you'd expect right now. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, custom force feedback files can greatly improve things, but if you are picky with car feel and force feedback, it may be worth holding off for just a little while yet. So I think Razer Studios has done an excellent job on AMS2, especially when comparing to the state of the game when it first launched in early access. It's almost an entirely different game. If updates are performed on a regular basis and content continues to be released, either free or paid DLC, then I see AMS2 really gaining a good following. However, I think for this to happen, the car feel and force feedback needs continued improvement, and then to pull some people away from things like iRacing or Race Room, AMS2 really requires a big uplift to the online platform, including ranked multiplayer. So, with that all in mind, let's recap the pros and cons of the sim that I've experienced to date. The pros of AMS2 include excellent visuals, solid performance, amazing weather effects, decent car feel and force feedback, which is made better by custom force feedback files. AI is showing improvements, there's excellent free and paid content, classic and retro layouts of popular circuits such as Monza and Hockenheim, and well implemented and very immersive VR. Some of the cons here include multiplayer online racing definitely needing some work and needs to implement a ranked system. It can be difficult to map and customize controls. There's no modding support outside of basic livery changes. The force feedback model and car feel, whilst being improved, may still be a ways off for some people who are sensitive to such things and may deter them from picking this game up. So looking at this overall, in my opinion, AMS2 is absolutely a sim that you should keep on your radar if you're not already. It has a lot to offer and shows promise in the regular updates that are being released. I think if we see continued improvements to the car feel and force feedback, more and more content and implementation of a ranked multiplayer system, AMS2 will be a sim to reckon with. Of course, take this as my own opinion, but I do highly recommend AMS2, and if you're considering picking it up, hopefully I've helped you with that decision. If the game goes on sale, I'd say dive on it straight away. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be back soon with some more content. There's more AMS2 free content inbound, as well as part 2 of the Racing USA DLC. So make sure you give me a like and subscribe and ring the bell so that you're notified when those videos come out. Hopefully I helped you make a decision as to whether or not you want to buy AMS2. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you have anything else that I might have missed, let me know. But until the next one, I'll catch you later. Thanks. See ya.